Okay, let's extend our discussion from where we left yesterday about the language center. Language development center, our play place, where we are giving a walkthrough to the children about names of the things, about words, concepts, actions, feelings, and every subject in fact starts with how things are named in that subject. وَعَلَّمَ الْآدَمَ أَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. We taught Adam the names of everything. So these words, and then we in the meantime also have to teach them about some mathematical concepts. Those mathematical concepts are large and small and up and low and high and low and far and near. These are mathematical concepts in number and space. The definition of maths is a pattern in numbers and space. And some motor skills, fine motor skills, let's say a kind of things to pick up and draw so that their handwriting skills develop. And the most important is their social interactional skills and discipline that we want to bring. So these things will not be a kind of in isolation from each other. Every day the things are sort of embedded and integrated into two main sessions which will go like this. We are doing words, and in the same we are also talking about these are two birds, these are three birds, these are more birds, these are few birds. We are also drawing these things, and we are also talking, yes, we should not disturb this bird, and put things at the place. So these are interwoven things into a sort of two immersive sessions, one play session and then a free play, then another play session. And let's not forget the significance of the free play. Free play is which actually brings in the social skills in the children. When we adults are a little out of their way, they learn those things even better. And certain things obviously have to go into sort of daily routine, like things to calm down, things quiet time, things like let's have a breathing time, and let's have a listening time. So these things will be happening here, somewhere, and obviously it calls for making some predictable routines for the children that helps them understand, yes, that's how we broadly go, make a bell or something, and the cues that they know, okay, oh, we have to come back to the place and then or go back to our work, sort of stuff. And whatever we are doing has to be repeated to deal with our own forgetting curve. We forget things, and you can always go and read Ebinger's forgetting curve. We almost forget 80% of the things in first 1 hour or something. So research suggests that if we repeat things in this frequency in 1 to 2 days, and then we repeat it in 1 week, and then if we repeat it in 1 month. Now that goes very interestingly with the natural rhythm God has created. The word month came from the moon appears. Week, there's no, week came from scriptures, and that human being adopted as such. Like year came from our circular motion of the earth around the sun, month came from the moon, week came from scriptures, and the day is one revolution of the earth, as we know. So everything has to be repeated the next day at least, and maybe the 2 days, And in a week, if we have done 2-3 things, all those things will be, after a week, 10 days, will be clubbed together, and a review of that will happen, and activities which take all those words which were coming in last weekdays. And in month, we have to put lots of those things together which were happening in the last. So that's how the calendar has to be designed. Okay, we are doing per and ter, and then a per and ter mix, and then after a month we will see we have done per and ter and ker and jer. So per, ter, ker, jers things can be mixed into some activities. The sequence that research suggests, you can take it from me, and research suggests it. Commercial material will not give you that sequence. I can give you a small demonstration on that as well. How almost commercial material available is useless, kind of. The sequence that we have to adopt should be totally to our context, but broadly, for example, looking at the Pakistan's context, the first group which sort of makes sense, and it's not very rigid like mathematically, you can always put different stuff. This is the first group of sounds that we will go with. This is the second group of sounds, and as you notice, and then there's a third group, and we cover simpler sound to complex sounds, consonants, and gradually we take vowels, one vowel in one group, and that too from simple to complex. So this thing is very, very important. Let's say I have, for example, this 101, I mean, with all respect to who are publishing, but you see, you will see things, many of things are not relevant to your context. They don't know what is flippers, etc., because they haven't. We can build on the knowledge that the children already have. We have to build upon that or create that knowledge, etc. So you have to take 2 things and you have to delete 5 things out of them. And the parties, for example, our children might not be aware of this food, and they might not be aware of any of them. So we have to have a collection of pictures and old books, but just getting things from the market and start living in that sequence will really not help. This is what we were earlier criticizing as well. A for apple, B for bird. What is it? But are you telling me names or sounds or everything in a go? No, it's quite kind of costly book in that. Take this book. I've just picked it randomly from my library, which I had bought just for in ignorance, and I shouldn't have bought. So E is for elephant, D is for dog. Maybe at some point in time it's good for the child just for the review, but that is, teacher can use it. Yeah, obviously, if you are teaching them today, it's an ongoing session, it's about the animals, and you find some of the animals are there, yeah, can always show them this is cow, and this is elephant, and this is dog, and etc. But these are not the good things which you can just leave to the children or start making your calendar according to any of the commercial books. Simply they are useless. We can use all this old stuff or from any old bookshop, junk shop, where the story of the fish. Don't look at it, but look at the story and just start talking about the story. There was a fish, it was a blue fish, and it was a red fish. But if you start following the textbook in a sequence, that is the mistake we should never make. These will never tell us in what particular learning sequence we have to expose our things. And this, let's a little bit talk about these skills which are the fine motor skills. Fine motor skills also go from a very typical sequence, from straight lines to, for this obviously we would like to give them some scaffolding, some dot to dots or grids, whereby they can pick things from a point, 2 point, this, and they can do this, and they can do this. It goes like this. We need to have a chart with ourselves which tells us about sequence of the strokes in which we should teach them, and that also should be coming from the research. So it should be kind of part of the teacher's planner. Okay, what strokes I must be covering in this area, and when you feel the children have learned this stroke, shift to the next stroke. And gradually from strokes to we can the same strokes can be used for then making cups and making saucers and making etc. But these dots and these grids then give children a sort of scaffolding, because they start from a particular place and they can start making circles, and they can start making triangles, and then gradually they can start making circles and triangles into objects. So they note down it's all about small curves and straight lines, and they can make very interesting things. Start with, give them a sequence, a sequential drawing things, and tell them step by step. So it's all processes go from simpler to complex step by step. If you tell them make this, really they can't make it. But if you tell them make this stroke and just add this, then add this and this, and you will see after some time they have a very good bee or a mosquito or anything. I don't recall in my 16 years of journey, and everybody, all the kids which we were studying, that any teacher came and told us these very simple things. We feel primary school teacher needs to be trained for a day or two on these simple things. On simple things like line drawing and sketching, on particularly on paper related things like origami and kirigami and small book making, small bead making, simple string art. If the teacher can do that with the very simple stuff, she can create a very interesting environment for the children, because he knows I have to do something about the, for example, G and D today. She knows G. Okay, I have to talk about the girl and talk about the goose and to talk about, for example, grapes. And then she can make a story of goose and grapes and a girl, and she can draw girls and draw a goose. But this step-by-step thing, this, and then turning into this, and turning into this, and eventually turning into a mouse. This is very important, and this is a philosophy that we have to go from simple to complex, and we have to go step by step, we have to go repeated. Now this is our calendar, which looks like a 3 month and 6 months thing. This is our daily sort of stuff. We start with the prayers, we start with the breathing time, we start with the cool time. Then there is a 1.5 hour immersive activity with children. I do and the children do, and then they do individually as they go forward. Then it's a free play and come back. Doing 5 things, 6 things in a day, like a kind of a chicken picking its food, that doesn't work for the learning. Then this is a must every day, 10 minutes of these things. Then repeat is very important. And anything that we expose to the children, let's remember this acronym, COLOR, C-L-R. It should be very clear, it should be large and loud, and it should be repeated. So this is very important. Things should otherwise be colorful for the children in 3 fundamental colors. 3 fundamental colors, 3 basic light colors are, as you know, red and yellow and blue, but you can add green obviously and black. So that is what the thing is. And next time we will start talking about sounds in our language development center. Thank you very much.